Good morning. This is Jory Vandenberg, the 388 Fighter Wing historian. I'm currently conducting a series of interviews with the 388th Bombardment Group Heavy, and we're at the 63rd Annual 388 Bomb Group Reunion at Savannah, Georgia. Today is 2 September 2002, and I'm currently interviewing the following individual. Okay. You're
Can I
good.
talk to you?
You can talk to me, yes, sir. So, your name is? Please give me your full name.
My name is Jim Zographos.
Okay.
My hometown is Westboro, Massachusetts.
Okay. You were born and raised in Westboro,
I
Massachusetts?
was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, but I was always a resident of Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up at the 388 finally with the rank of first lieutenant,
Okay.
and I was a lead bombardier.
Okay.
And I first entered the service, I was drafted in January of 1942.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were a selective service guy.
And I was a pharmacist, and I was expecting to be assigned to the medical corps.
Okay.
So being drafted didn't matter. I was going to do a job for my country.
Okay.
And when they called me one morning, early in the morning, a bunch of us. They put us on a train. They sent us to South Carolina. Going to be in the infantry.
Oh, okay.
Now I was saying,
You're going to be in the medical corps in the infantry?
Yeah. So I said, what the heck are they doing? I'm a pharmacist. I should be in the medical corps.
Okay.
What am I doing with the infantry?
Okay.
So once we got down there, I went and checked and said, how come I'm in the infantry and not the medical corps? The excuse they gave me was, you know what, you still have to go through your basic training. You got to do basic training for 6 weeks, and then after that, everybody gets the assignment.
Okay.
So I said, okay, I did the 6 weeks of basic training. I learned how to throw, I learned how to use hand grenades, dynamite, the bayonet, and how to kill somebody, and how to do jiu-jitsu and kill the enemy, break his neck right away.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun in a way. And I said, well, it's good training. I'm going to be a pharmacist anyway, so who cares? So the day came of the assignments, and they're reading off. For example, the following men are going to be in the artillery.
Okay.
The following men are going to be in this and that. They come down to the end. The following men are going to be in a radio company. And they read off my name. I said, what the heck am I going to do with the radio company? And I'm a pharmacist. Make a long story short, I had to do radio training. I couldn't get out of it. And after about 2 or 3 days, I couldn't stand the earphones. And I got so disgusted, I walked out. They threatened me with court-martial for quitting. And I told my situation. I said, I just can't handle work like that. So it did offer me to be in a message center. I said, what is message center? Well, it's coding and decoding messages and things like that. And it's going to be interesting. I thought, okay. So I did a pretty good job with that. Then they offered me, at the end of the training, you did pretty well. Would you like to stay with us? You get a promotion, and you can be an instructor.
Okay.
And I said, well, let me put it this way. So it delays my entry into the actual war and combat. So, okay, that's fine. So about 1 or 2 nights later, I'm walking around the base, and I wanted to go to the PX to buy candy or something like that. And I passed by the officers' quarters. And as I passed by, I happened to look in the parking lot, and I see a black Chevrolet with Massachusetts plates on it. And I looked at it, gee, that car is so goddamn familiar. And so I walked in, and I got the CQ in one of the barracks. And I said, who belongs to that Chevy out there with mass play. Oh, that's Captain Nolan. Now, when he said Captain Nolan, God damn, what a coincidence.
So you knew this guy, Captain Nolan?
I did. So what happened was, while I was going to college, I was working part-time at the library. And I worked with his sister's name was Mary. And at the end of the night, Bob Dolan would come over. He'd take me home, and then he'd take off and go to his home. So I asked the CQ, is Captain Nolan there? Yeah, I think he is. So we got together, we hugged and what have you, what a coincidence. Let's have a couple of beers. So while we're talking, he said to me, gee, he said, you guys are lucky. I said, what do you mean we're lucky? He said, you're going to go to Fort Devens. I said, you sure about that? He says, yeah. Well, Fort Devens was just about an hour away from my home. I said, gee, go to Fort Devens, I'm almost home. I can go home and visit my mother and stuff like that. So as soon as we got to, I went back to my sergeant. I said, sir, I put on a good act. Sir, I got to refuse that job you offered me to be an instructor. I want to be with my buddies. My intent was, let me get home for a little while. So we got to Fort Devens, and come to find out we're going to be assigned to the 45th Infantry Division.
Okay.
And one of the men there said, well, you're going to be in Fort Devens about a month, and then you're going to go to Africa.
Okay, so you ended up at Fort
Devens in
Devens,
Massachusetts. And
find out you're kind of stuck in the infantry. So how did you get out of the infantry into the Army Air Forces?
well, every week the commanding general of the 45th Division then was General Key, if I remember, Key.
Okay.
And I think he was from Oklahoma. And every weekend he would go to Washington, D.C., and he would give a report. And every time he would say, my outfit isn't ready for combat yet. So okay, week after week, the same thing. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Coming to find out,
All right, so come to find out.
We figured that General Key, he didn't want to go over into combat yet either. So every weekend, same excuse, we're not ready for combat. And we weren't doing any combat training at all. Nothing. If they sent us into combat, we would have been greenhorns. We'd be in danger of getting killed. So a week went by, 2 weeks, 1 month, and 2 months, and no training at all. So one day I walked by the aviation something, and I walked in there, and you could take the examination for the Air Corps, and if you passed it, you'd be in the Air Corps, and the Air Corps would have priority over you.
Okay.
So at that time, I was making $30 a month. And I walked in, took the examination, and when I was walking out, I asked the sergeant in charge, have you any idea if I passed or not? He said, I can find out in a couple seconds. So he looked up whatever he looked at. He says, buddy, you're in the Air Corps now. Right off the bat, I'm up to $75 a month.
Okay.
I thought that was something great. So a lot of things happened in between, but I'll skip that. But
Let's just get to, when did you show up for your initial military training for the Air Corps? Or airman training? Where did you go for that? For your pilot training? Because I guess you got selected to be a pilot. Your scores were high enough to get you into pilot school.
Yeah, but I had to go to cadet training first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cadet
And
training.
that was in San Antonio, Texas. That would be January, February, March, April, May. I'd say about September
Okay,
of 1942.
okay.
Yeah.
Because you got drafted in January 42.
Yeah.
So now you're rolling around by September 42.
I'm
You've
in
now
the-
been selected to go ahead and go to the cadet training program
Yeah.
at, did you go to Randolph? Or
No, I
did you go
went
to
to-
Kelly Field or Brookfield?
No, not even that. It was in, and I remember it was in San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And,
Camp Mabry?
yeah.
All right, so you get down to San Antonio, Texas to start your pre-pilot training cadet school.
Yeah.
All right, so what happened there?
So we did that pretty well. And then I went to, I'm not sure if there's something before going into flight time, but I remember the flying school was in Coleman, Texas.
Okay,
Yeah. So everybody's all excited. You're wearing helmets with the goggles and all that.
okay,
And instead of wearing your goggles on your head over flying, they had to hang under your chin.
oh, okay,
The only time you can take the goggles and put them over your head and over your eyes is when you're soloed.
okay,
Okay, so now I went for, I forget, 4 or 5 or 6 lessons, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm 24 years old, and I'm happy as a lark. I'm flying. I'm going to end up doing something really, really good.
okay,
And one morning, the instructor said to me, "We're going up today. You're going to take off, you're going to land, you're going to do all the exercises, and if you pass those, come this afternoon, you're going to solo." And
Okay.
I'm happy as a lark because if I solo, those goggles are going to be where they belong.
okay,
So we did everything perfectly up on the up in the lessons.
okay,
I made a perfect, beautiful takeoff, beautiful exercises, and then did a beautiful landing. I mean, it was not even one little single bounce. You didn't even know you landed.
okay,
And as soon as we landed, about halfway down the runway, the instructor took over the airplane, and I didn't know what he was doing. You know what happened.
okay,
So we landed, and let's cut that.
all righty.
So we.
So you did the perfect takeoff, perfect lesson,
everything
perfect landing,
perfect.
just greased the landing like
And all I could,
you're an expert.
and all I could, I was so happy that come this afternoon, I'm going to be all alone up in the sky.
Okay,
And the instructor's madder than the wet hen. He said, "What the heck did you do? I don't understand you. I did everything good." No. When we landed, did you check the windsock? I looked at him. No, sir. But what had happened was I took off perfectly.
into the wind like you're supposed
Yeah,
to.
like I'm supposed to. And then I figured, well, everything's okay. I know just what I'm going to do, what pattern I'm going to get into. And he said, "Did you check the windsock?" I said, "Gee, no, sir, I didn't." Well, what had happened in the half hour, 3/4 of an hour of flying, when I came back, the wind had changed
Okay,
108 degrees, which meant instead of landing into the wind,
you had a tailwind.
I had a tailwind, which you shouldn't be doing.
Okay.
So,
Well, because now you're going into the traffic that would normally
Yeah.
be coming that direction.
so
Okay, so he hooked you?
So he said, well, he said, that's it.
That you're done?
At that time, I remember no second chances. One mistake, and you were done.
Okay,
Because the airco wanted the best of everyone.
okay. So you washed out of the pilot
So I
school?
washed out, and then I didn't know what I was going to do. Here I am, a pharmacist.
Okay,
I'm not going to be in the flying crew. And then after an interview, I was told I'd be very good as a bombardier, so I agreed to that. At least I would be in an airplane, I would be flying,
Okay.
which I enjoyed.
all right.
So I did my bombardier training.
All right. Where did you go for your bombardier training?
I went to, I had to go to pre-flight again. That was at Ellington Field,
Okay,
yeah. And then I went to Big Spring, Texas, if I remember that.
okay,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to put things together as far
Okay.
as my schedule
That's good.
went. So
you
anyway,
go to Big Spring, Texas for bombardier training,
yeah.
okay? And what did they train, what planes did they train you in? Do you remember? Big Spring?
I think we had B-17 because we had the Norton Bob site.
All right, so they started you out training you in the B-17 on
Yeah.
bombardier duty, okay?
So,
And how long was bombardier training?
gee,
Do you remember about what time you got there? Because you got to San Antonio, we figure about September, October 42. You'll be there for about a week or two or a couple of weeks and then trying to fly and then,
gee, September, October. I think it was about the end of November.
okay. By the end of November, you get to pilot the bombardier school
Yeah,
at Big Spring, Texas,
Yeah.
okay.
because I remember it was November because there was a back home in Boston area. There was a football game, Boston College against I forget what, either Harvard or I think it was Boston College against Harvard, and Boston College I think won that game. And they all went to the Coconut Grove that night for a celebration.
Okay,
That's where they had a big fire. And, hundreds of people got killed in that fire. They couldn't get out.
okay,
One of the people that got killed, I remember, was the old, name was Buck Jones. You remember?
Okay.
Buck Jones was a famous cowboy at that time. It was a big, big story, so I remember
okay,
that.
so that's what helps lock you in the date?
Yeah,
Okay, so it was November of 42,
yeah.
you're in there, okay. So how long was bombardier training?
I would guess maybe 8 weeks.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
alrighty.
Yeah.
So when did you finally, after you got done with the bomber training, where did you go from there? Did you finally get assigned to a crew someplace? Did they send you to like a distribution center or collection center to assign you to a bomb crew?
No, we finished. I do remember that I graduated
Okay,
as a bombardier, and getting commission was August of 1943.
okay. Oh, so bombardier training was that long? Like
Between
6, 7, 8 months?
about
Okay.
probably,
I
yeah.
didn't know. All right, well, while you were doing that bomber trip, was there any particular incident that occurred while you were doing that?
Well, really nothing. We had, at that time we had what they call the upper class and the lower class.
Okay,
And the lower class had to pay attention to what the upperclassmen were telling you to do.
Okay.
It was almost like a form of hazing.
okay,
Okay, when we sat at the dining room table in the mess hall, the lower class, they had a name for us. I can't remember anyway.
okay,
But When we sat down to eat, we had what we called a square meal.
Okay,
Okay, you put your fanny on the edge of the seat in the front. You didn't sit on the entire pad of the.
right, okay.
You had to
Sitting on the edge of the
you had to
chair.
move up and sit up, and you had to have a straight back, and you had to look forward. You had to pick up your silverware, and everything was square. You pick it up, go forward, put it down, pick up your food, bring it up, back again. That's how you did your whole meal. Now, when the meal was over, the upper class who were right across from us, they gave us all kinds of questions.
Okay,
They would ask the different questions.
okay,
What's playing at the base theater tonight? We had to give them an answer. In other words, sir, tonight's major movie, the name of it is Joey Baran Goes to High School. It starts at 7 o'clock p.m. It'll be over at 9 p.m. So we had to give the entire detail. And you might call it a form of hazing.
Yes,
That's what it was. And then on the final day, the lower class would be entitled to treat the upper class the way we were treated. And it was just a lot of fun.
okay,
Yeah. And then we had our graduation, August 23rd.
okay,
And I went home for I think about a week furlough. And then we reported to Ardmore, Oklahoma.
okay,
And we did training as a crew.
okay. So that was where you first met with
Yeah.
your crew. Oh, there was an incident you were mentioning earlier about, not on tape, but about like a strafing incident. You want to tell me that story? Where did that happen and what was that?
Yeah, I'd like to bring that up because, like I said, when I washed out, because I didn't follow notice the windsock. There was a buddy of mine in Bombardier School. He was training to be a pilot.
Okay,
He had about 2 weeks to go before they would get their graduation.
okay,
He'd get his commission and get his wings. And they just told him, you got free time, do what you want, go up in the air, fly around, do your procedures and everything like that. So he went up there, and all of a sudden he looked down on the road. There's a station wagon, and he decided he's going to do a maneuver. He's going to imagine that's an enemy tank or an enemy truck, whatever it was. So he headed down. He dove at it, made believe he was using machine guns, and rat-tat-tat-tat. Then they come up again, make a turn around, go back again,
okay,
right over the station wagon, do the same thing. And he says, I felt like I was in combat doing my work. So after they were landed, they had to report to some area where the Inspector General was there for the day.
uh-oh,
Wanted to check procedures and what kind of training they had, and different things about the base, and they would give them some kind of a rating.
okay,
So when they started, the Inspector General is up on the stage, and he said, before I start giving you my report, I'd like to tell you about what happened this afternoon. He said, I'm coming down in my station wagon, and all of a sudden this airplane comes out of nowhere, and he went through a maneuver as if he was attacking us. He would come straight at us. I could tell what he was doing. He'd come pretty close. He would buzz us, then take off, come around, make another pass. And he said, he came pretty close to the station wagon. If you strafe, you go down pretty deep. And he said, and when I saw that, I said, God, that student, that pilot's really a good fly. He's going to be a good combat man. I wish that man would stand up so I can congratulate him. So my buddy got up. His name was Wiseman, I remember. He got up. He thought he was going to get a big applause and stuff like that. And the general pointed his finger at him and says, "Young man, you're all done."
You're all done.
That was one mistake. Couldn't do it. So luckily he had a chance to be a bombardier so that he could be, commissioned as a lieutenant at that time.
But he blew his chance to be a pilot because he's up there hot rodding,
Yeah.
goofing off.
Yeah. Now when I look back, I gave a talk one time when I mentioned that, and somebody asked me, "Well, how come you picked pilot training where it was more dangerous than anything else?" I said, well, what can I tell you about it? It had to be my fate. Because when I look back sometime, I say, gee, if I did become a pilot, would I have been a bomber pilot? I would have wanted to be a fighter pilot all by myself. But so what? I could have been killed then.
Yeah.
As it was, I washed out, so I couldn't do my own flying. And my experience was become a bombardier, do all my missions, and here I am. You're asking me a question, and I'm alive to tell you
Yeah.
really what happened. It just happened. I'm still alive.
Turned out to be a better deal being a
Yeah.
bombardier.
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay. All right. So you pass bombardier school and you get commissioned as a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go up to Ardmore, Oklahoma, or Alton.
Ardmore, Oklahoma. We did
Ardmore,
training there.
Okay. And then you got signed up with your crew.
Yeah. And,
Is that where you got your crew?
we didn't get the crew then. When we finished our training in Oklahoma, we had another week furlough, I believe.
Okay.
And then we reported to Kearney Air Base, I think, in Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when we got that's when we got an airplane.
Okay.
Yeah, and what it was, it was a brand new airplane, and we were going to go from Nebraska to New Hampshire
Okay.
and stay overnight in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And then the next day, fly to Gander in Newfoundland and stay there overnight. And then to go from Newfoundland to Prestwick, Scotland.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we did all that, and we got to Gander Field. We hit a snowstorm,
Okay.
and the snow was so deep. One morning, they had to bring out bulldozers and everything to get us out of the barracks. The snow covered everything there, and the weather was too bad we couldn't take off. So we got stuck up in Gander Field for 2 weeks.
Well,
Yeah, and then finally we were able to leave, and we took off about midnight of the day we were going to leave, and it was a beautiful weather, cold, but all the stars were out that night. A beautiful sight to see, all millions of stars up there.
okay.
And I had a navigator. He was a top navigator, and to fly instead of using the pilot did use instrument flying and radio beams and stuff like that. But my navigator had a sextant, and he plotted the whole thing by shooting the stars. Beautiful rig.
Did a good job.
Yeah, he brought us to our destination within minutes of estimated time of arrival. Perfect, because in those days there were many, well, not many, I don't know how many, but some crews didn't make it to the coast of Scotland.
Okay.
They ran out of fuel, or something happened. They ran out of fuel. They didn't know it, and just got killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you end up at Prescott with your brand new B-17, and what happened there?
Well, then he took it away
They
from
took your
us.
plane away. What's up with that?
Yeah.
So they send you down to Nettishaw without an airplane?
Yeah, we had to spend a week in quarantine first in Scotland,
okay.
and then they drove us to Nettishaw.
Okay.
And
So good. By the way, what was you had a dedicated crew by that point. Who were your crew members that you were assigned to? Sorry, when you were pilot.
my pilot was Donald Hayden.
Okay.
Yeah. My co-pilot was Leroy DeCure.
Okay.
My navigator was Eddie Popelaz. He was Polish.
Okay.
And then I had one gunner, his name was Larry Cadena.
Okay.
And I can't remember the others really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But that was your crew. Did that crew manage to be able to stay with you the entire tour while you were there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you arrived, it's trying to get the chronology again. You arrived at Nettishaw about what time?
Early 44, may have been January or February, somewhere
Okay.
around
January,
there.
February 1944. Okay.
So,
All right. So you get in there and you're kind of like you're the new crew in town, and so you start flying, start doing some missions. Did you have a dedicated airplane at that time?
No,
Did they
we
give you
didn't,
one?
no.
You're just using, what was the first plane you flew in?
The first plane was, I tell you, it was Big Red.
Big Red?
Big. It's quite a story in the annals of the group about Big Red, and we flew, did about I think 2 missions with that,
Okay.
and then the third mission they assigned us to another airplane, and Big Red got shot down. So we were lucky.
Okay.
Fate was
Fate
with
was
us,
ticking on
right
that
with us,
door.
yeah.
Okay.
And so after that, we got a brand new airplane, and we named it. It was my suggestion. We named it Dear Mom, M-O-M.
Okay.
I mean, we thought about our mothers and stuff like that. So we flew, maybe 3 or 4 missions with Dear Mom, and then we had to go to. We had to go on the pass,
Okay.
and we came back from London after 3-day pass. I went out to see how our plane was doing. It wasn't there. Somebody else flew the plane that day. It
Okay.
got shot down.
Gotcha.
So then we got another airplane, and that was named Heavens Above, which is in the annals of the 388th.
Okay.
Yeah, and we did.
What does Heavens Above claim to fame?
I think I don't think we named it then. I
Okay.
think that was the plane. It just happened to have that name on it.
Okay. Somebody else had already pegged that name on it?
So I did 30 missions with that crew.
Okay.
D-Day was June 6th, which was on Tuesday.
Okay. Let me back up for just a minute, because it sounds like you were there at the time, but did you participate in the Berlin bombing blitz week that they did in early March? Went from like March 6th.
I'm not too sure, but on my records, I went to Berlin 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But do you remember doing it in what became known as the Berlin Blitz week in
I
March?
remember that, yeah.
March 6th to
I
9th
don't
or
thi-
10th?
I don't think I was on that one.
Okay.
I don't
So
think
you
so.
went at the later missions,
Yeah.
because they did another round on around the
Yeah.
23rd, 24th of
Yeah.
March also to kind of go back. Okay, but you were there for the D-Day stuff.
Yeah, D-Day,
Okay.
which was on a Tuesday.
Okay. So what missions did you have for that? Because we launched three missions that day.
Well, let me back up 2 days.
Okay.
Sunday, at that time we had double daylight saving time,
Okay.
which meant you could pull a mission late afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sunday, Sunday we did a late mission. We hit the coast and came back. It
Okay.
might have been about a 5-hour mission or something. We got back to the base, had something to eat, went to bed. The next day, he put us on another mission,
Okay.
on a late mission,
Okay.
back to the French coast, and bomb our target. That was about another 4 or 5 hour mission. So now it's Monday evening, went to bed.
Let me ask you on that, do you remember the specific area that you bombed? The
It's just-
town or whatever?
I have records of it, but I can't tell you.
Okay,
I have a list of all my missions that were given to me.
okay,
So we came back Monday late afternoon. Went mess hall, had a nice dinner. Now I figure we were a little tired, we'd go to sleep. So as soon as we got to the barracks, on the loudspeakers, everybody report for briefing.
okay,
Okay. And we got the briefing. This is it, D-Day.
this is it.
So now we didn't get any sleep.
Okay,
We did the first mission for D-Day, and as soon as we landed, they had a jeep that said, "You're gonna go back again on another mission."
okay,
It was impossible. My navigator was falling asleep, standing up. I was dead tired, so my pilot was able to talk to a commanding officer and said, it's impossible. We would be a danger flying in that condition. So, okay, we didn't fly. That was it. So now, I think that was my 26th mission. Now, D-Day was a big, big day.
okay,
And everybody said, well, the war is going to be over. Okay.
okay,
Okay. Now, instead of doing 30 missions, we're going to do unlimited missions. And everybody's in an uproar. What do you mean unlimited? You're talking fly until you get shot down and get killed.
yeah,
You know, you just can't do that. So we hem and hawed back and forth, different groups. Well, let's put it this way. You can do your 30 missions. If you do 35 missions, you can go home
okay,
and you're all set. Or you can do 30 missions, go home to the States for 30 days, and then come back and do another tour of duty.
okay.
So we talked amongst
They
them.
tacked on 20 missions if you did that, right?
Huh?
If you took the 30-day leave back at the state, you would come back and commit to 20 more missions.
No, they didn't give us any set figure,
Oh, okay.
just another tour.
All right, another tour.
So we talked amongst the crew, and they said, well, why take chances? Let's go home 30 days, and who knows what might happen with the war. Maybe it'd be a little easier.
Okay,
So we did that. We came back went home for 30 days, and then we went 2 weeks to Atlantic City for R&R.
okay. Do you remember the date of that?
See, June 6th. I think it would be about early September of '44.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
all right. So the crew collectively decided y'all would like to stay.
So we
Everybody
vol-
went back for 30-day leave.
so we volunteered to go back again for another tour.
Okay,